The piston rings. So he fried his
It don't
piston
matter
rings.
if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
He did. He fried his piston ring.
Right. So fried the piston ring, and the car still drove the rest of the way.
That's
Like
right.
it's like, I don't know.
No.
That's kind of excessive.
That's like Rambo fighting a whole army, and the bullets never expire. It's a little help from Hollywood, you know. So ain't no way he was gonna keep on driving that car after he pushed it the way he did.
Right. And in a future movie, in a future video, Abe and I are going to comment on Fast and Furious 6, the runway scene, that the runway goes on for 15 minutes.
It's the runway that never ends.
It's the runway that never ends. But I have a plausible explanation, so we'll get to that. Look forward to that. But for this one, let's talk about the shifting of that race. So they're going 140 miles an hour, but they were still shifting gears. It's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And like the engine should have been like a, pretty much red line while they're going at it. So, I mean, if you're gonna nitpick some things, that's one thing to nitpick is like how many times did they shift and how high revved was their engine for that whole race.
That's right.
And then he fries his piston rings and he still makes it to the finish line.
That's right.
But I also want to comment on granny shifting. So granny shifting, what he means by that is doing the whole like accelerate, clutch, shift, let off the clutch, accelerate. And double clutching is also... So double clutching, he shouldn't have said double clutching. Because double clutching, it hasn't been a thing unless you drive a big rig semi-truck. Because most cars have what's called a synchro, and it automatically spins the gears. So basically you've got your shaft that's coming off the engine, the crankshaft, that spins your flywheel, and then you've got your axles that are spinning by the drive shaft, and so I'm sorry, crankshaft, drive shaft in the back. So they are spinning, so the drive shaft spinning while your tires spin, and that is connected to the synchro and the gears that you're not engaging, whereas the crankshaft coming off the engine is spinning the flywheel that you're trying to select a gear to engage with. So the synchro is automatically keeping those gears that aren't in use spinning to match your wheels, basically. And your crankshaft is spinning the one gear that you have engaged. So double clutching is what you had to do before there was a synchro. Double clutching and heel-toe shifting. Heel-toe shifting is where you use your right foot to maneuver the gas pedal and the brake pedal simultaneously to do what's called engine matching. As you notice that when you accelerate and you're ready for the next shift, you're at like 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs. As soon as you clutch and granny shift, the engine automatically starts to decelerate. It loses RPMs by about 1,000. So by the time you get into the next highest gear, your engine is about 1,000 RPMs slower than it was when you were in your previous gear. So it's about 1,000 RPM difference from gear to gear. So engine matching is hypothetically if you don't use your clutch. If you didn't have the clutch, you could engine match, which does what's called double clutching, which makes your non-engaged gears spin at the same speed, so the drive shaft, the crankshaft off the engine and the drive shaft going to the tires are spinning simultaneously because the RPMs of the engine match the RPMs of the tires. It's called engine matching, and you just drop it right into the gear without using your clutch. That's what double clutching is, and it's actually not faster than granny shifting, but heel-toe clutching. What Dominic's trying to say is you should engine match, because I don't know, otherwise you get what's called a hard shift, and those hard shifts it's just not smooth. It's the opposite of a smooth shift. So Dominic is trying to say smoother shifting is more efficient than hard shifting, and to do a smooth shift, engine matching, which can be done by the heel-toe maneuver, or heel-toe, what do you call that? Technique.
Yeah.
So some people put their toe on the brake, they can use their heel on the gas pedal, and you do what's called blip. You just blip the gas pedal, and it shoots the RPMs up, because you got to downshift really fast. So if you downshift really fast without blipping the gas, you're gonna lurch forward. So what you do is you blip the gas to increase the RPMs of the engine, so as soon as you downshift into a lower gear, you don't feel that that rapid deceleration of the shifting. And so that's heel toe, the heel toe technique. So there's videos on that. It's really interesting to watch, and it's not easy. It's really hard to engine match because it also depends on your flywheel, how light your flywheel is to allow the engine to decelerate quickly enough to do a fast shift. Because if you don't have like a racing flywheel, it could take a long time to slow down, which is actually advantageous because it's a little more predictable because when it's like too fast, you're like, oh shit, I missed it. So yeah, racing flywheels and double clutching.
That's right. Drive safe.
And drive safe. Obey the law, as Paul Walker said.